the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success. Maybe you are still going to school. If you are not disciplined, you cannot be going to school, going clubbing, moving from one place to another, friends, discussing, chit-chatting with friends. If you are not disciplined, you cannot attain success. Once you are disciplined in life, it's very certain that you can be successful. Try to cultivate a habit of being disciplined. Discipline yourself. When they say discipline yourself, it doesn't mean you should punish yourself. It's all about making firm decisions and stick to them. It's very important. Our next picture this morning says that someone out there is inspired by you. They see you, they see your grind, they watch your lean, and because of you, they believe they can do more. Do not quit. Not for you, not for them. Be the reason someone else keeps pushing. You are leading by example. Be it in your family, as a leader, as a member of that household, endeavor. You may not be the family head, but because of your character trait, the character trait of being disciplined, you try to inspire someone in the family. You try to inspire someone in your community. You try to inspire someone in your community. So let us endeavor to cultivate the habits of being disciplined. Someone out there is inspired by you. There is always someone watching you, whether you like it or not. Whether you are ugly, as some people consider, or you are handsome, as some people consider, because no one is ugly and no one is handsome. All depends on how we decide to carry ourselves. So it's important for us to always understand that someone somewhere is inspired by us. The way we live our lives, the people we interact with, how we talk to people, we always inspire someone. There might be a young man somewhere watching at you. When the person sees you, the person always smiles. Say, I like this my brother, I like this my sister. So endeavor to cultivate the habit of being disciplined. And of course, our last picture this morning says, my discipline is my secret weapon for success. My discipline is my secret weapon for success. Let us endeavor on this Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. Take it as a food for thought that my discipline is my secret weapon for success. That's what we are leaving you this morning as we roll our programs this morning. As you go about your daily preoccupations in life, yes, we understand that things might not be all rosy, but then, will you kill yourself? We have our problems, so even myself here, it doesn't mean I don't have my problems. But what can one do? We just have to continue sailing and try to accept that which you can solve today, you shall continue to solve. If you cannot solve it, you let it go. You must not kill yourself. All right, endeavor to cultivate the habit of discipline is very important. Be it as couples, be it as a student, be it as a professional. Anywhere you find yourself, a mechanic, a carpenter, a taxi driver, a commercial bike rider, a journalist, a jurist, a lawyer, a doctor, endeavor to cultivate the habit of being disciplined this morning. And that's why we are inviting Le Grand Maître Rabba Rabbi to do for us Moto. I shall see you all after that.
ya matongo yene ya takisa libese ya manganga atoni à ma chère c'est que jusqu'au jour j'adore ça les bonnes choses tafunga sa mamadana ni ya matomba nomba bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya matomba nomba bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya mayangila nene bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya mayangila nene bapena wana ndembe abuto na tondi noe adola mulema ho abuto na tondi noe tuwe ya matongo abuto na tondi noe adola mulema ho abuto na tondi noe tuwe ya majanja si un kumusi adosa mamadana ni ya matomba nomba bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya mayangila nene bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya matomba nomba bapena wana ndembe mamadana ni ya mayangila nene bapena wana ndembe abuto na tondi noe adola mulema ho abuto na tondi noe tuwe ya matongo abuto na tondi noe adola mulema ho abuto na tondi noe tuwe ya majanja Bello Bouba, my gari, mon frère du Nord, aussi adore les belles femmes comme moi. Yeah. Le bandit est bien votre piège. Nawode nyola dolo, ayolo e oh. Nawode nyola dolo, ayolo oh. Nawode nyola dolo, nawode nyola dolo, ayolo oh. Nawode nyola dolo, ayolo oh. Nawode nyola dolo, jombe poe poe. Nawode nyola dolo, ayolo oh. Nawode nyola dolo.
Beautiful music there from Logramete Rabarabi, the singing for us, the Mutum. And of course, you saw some beautiful pictures there of Njore Mbano Tiger and a whole lot of, as well as Samitiko, a whole lot of former stars, I should say, former boys of Grammet Rabarabi in the San Visa Academy. And of course, let me say good morning to those who are watching us from Bomonoba Mbenge. Even those of you watching us at Bomonoba Jedum, Bomonoba Ga, Suzakapa Kende, and why not those of you in Kongsamba? I'm delighted to know that you are there for us this morning. And those of you following us stream on our Facebook page, Home TV. Why not to those of you watching us from our YouTube channel, Home TV Cameroon? It's always with plenty of delight that we know that you are there for us this morning. And let me say happy birthday to you, George Semen. It's your birthday today. You're celebrating a plus year into your feathers. He's the communication officer of the Douala Kantini Hospital. And why not to you, Valerie Etondem? Valerie Etondem, who happens to be economics teacher with Government Bilingual High School, Mabanda, here in the Douala 4th Subdivision. And to all of you who are celebrating your birthdays today, happy birthday. Live it and celebrate it like you never did a day before. Now we're moving over to our next lot, which happens to be our health secret with Dr. Fru this morning. And Dr. Fru will be telling us about diabetes. You must understand that diabetes remains one of the killer diseases in our society today. What we eat, yes, it might be hereditary, and of course others do provoke it. So endeavor to live your life, endeavor to live a healthy lifestyle so that you should not contract diabetes. Now, hello Dr. Fru, good morning and welcome.
Brain, it has a mind, it has a spirit, it's controlled by the Spirit of God, but it's always sick in need of doctors, in need of pastors, in need of prophets each day. But the animals in the wild, they don't know how to pray. They just eat anyhow. They don't even wash their food. They eat with dirty hands. They don't brush their mouth, their teeth. They sleep under very bad or harsh conditions, beaten by mosquitoes, insects. They wound themselves. They eat dirty food, infected food with bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, toxins. But they don't have doctors. They are always healthy. They are always fresh. They are always strong. But man, on the contrary, notwithstanding his well-developed brain, man is educated. Until we answer the question why, then the health of man will continue to decay with time. What do I mean by decaying with time? Those who have studied geography, if they say something decays with time, you hear of half-life. I mean, with time, the health of man will be deteriorating. The lifespan of man will be reducing with time until it become a time that if man manages to reach 10 years or clock 10 years, it means he has tried. Man is sick because man is breaking the rules kept in place by his creator, the Almighty God, that will guide him. In a nutshell, most of our health problems are coming because of dietary divergence. Greetings, fellow viewers of Home TV. You are welcome to the program Health Secrets. Today I'll be talking on the topic diabetes. Yes, we all know of diabetes. In French it's called high glycemia. In English they say diabetes, high sugar. We know diabetes is a disease which conventionally it is being said that it has no permanent cure. You need to constantly take medications just to be bringing down the sugar. But here most often I always say the contrary, because we speak out of experience. We have people we have treated, we have even documented their testimonies over the years. There are people who cured more than 20 years ago, some 15 years ago, 10 years ago, up to today. They eat and live well, eat everything now, they are fine. No diabetes over more than 1 decade, 2 decades. Yeah, so diabetes has cure when it comes to modern nature. It's only when you live the cause of the diabetes and you concentrate on the high sugar to bring it down, then there's no permanent cure. For us, we always look for the main cause of diabetes. We cure the main cause, then heal the organs, bring back life to the organs, and then diabetes disappear. There are 3 types of diabetes. You have false diabetes and true diabetes. Under false diabetes, you have diabetes insipidus. Under true diabetes, you have diabetes mellitus. Yeah, diabetes insipidus is false diabetes because it gives signs and symptoms of the true diabetes, whereas it's due to a hormonal failure. Yet diabetes insipidus stems when the adrenal glands above the kidney fails to produce a certain hormone they call ADH, antidiuretic hormone. It is a hormone that causes reabsorption of water back into the blood, and so many other nutrients that have been filtered out or salts. But when the hormone, there's a failure to produce enough of the hormone or completely fail, if there's a failure to produce enough or complete failure not to produce any, the patient suffers from diabetes insipidus. You manifest the symptoms of diabetes, some of the symptoms of diabetes, always urinating and urinating and urinating and urinating, because the hormone that is supposed to cause the reabsorption of water that has been filtered through the kidneys to be sent out has failed. And so it's just like a car that has a sensor that controls certain parts of the car. When the sensors fail, the parts of the car that sensor controls, they also fail to function. Yes. So that hormone is just like a sensor that sends signals and control the reabsorption of water back into the blood when it fails. That is false diabetes. They will have true diabetes that is called diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus have type 1 and type 2. Most often type 1 is caused by a failure of the pancreas to produce enough insulin that converts excess glucose or sugar into glycogen and store in the muscles. When the pancreas fails, then sugar stays in the blood, is not converted into the muscles, and is high in the blood and start causing dehydration of the cells. You know, people who study osmosis in primary school, you always burst cocoyam, and then to show how a stronger solution will always drag a weaker solution, you stand the cocoyam in water and they put salt inside the sugar. In a short while, you see water comes into the cocoyam from the dish where you put the cocoyam. Yes, so when there's too much sugar in the cells, when there's too much sugar in the plasma, or a blood plasma, it will start pulling water out of the cells. It means it dehydrates the cells. And when it dehydrates the cells will always send information to your brain that there's no water in the system. Then the brain now will cause you to feel thirsty, to drink more water. As you drink more water, the sugar in the plasma will suck the water from inside the cells, and the cells will be short of water. They will keep sending information to your brain that the body does not have water, and you keep drinking water. And then the excess sugar in the water in the plasma, you keep urinating and urinating and urinating. And that is why most people have diabetes. They have frequent urination. Yeah, so that is diabetes. So you also have type 2. That type 2. Okay, type 1 comes when the pancreas has been overlabored until the islet of Langerhans, the certain cells, they crash out and they no longer function well to convert sugar into glycogen that is stored maybe in the liver or in the muscles and so on. And then the sugar stays in the blood and causing the dehydration and so on, then causing you to always be thirsty. Then this failure can be caused by so many things, which I will come to that. Yes. So when these cells fail, they cannot produce enough insulin for that. Then type 2 most often is due to our bad diet. We eat bad food, that we put on too much weight. We eat bad food that affects certain parts of our body and then leads to insulin resistance. It means your pancreas can be producing insulin, but at the level of the cell, because of some information, the cells cannot produce certain hormones or some. I don't want to go deep into science, but where there's some messenger RNAs or transfer RNA, messengers RNAs. That's with that. People who study science, you know what they call RNA, ribonucleic acid, which are supposed to carry information to out and so on, then cause the absorption and so on. It fails, then insulin insulin now cannot be burnt to release energy, or cannot be absorbed to burn a sugar to release energy. And that is where the problem comes. So with type 2, you are producing insulin, but it cannot be utilized at the level of the cell because of some failures, which I don't want to go into the mechanism. Because of failure there, then the insulin cannot act with the sugar to break it down to release energy into the cells. So that is where, and so it happened to people who put a lot of weight. So we have two types of diabetes, that I mean diabetes mellitus, type 1 and type 2. Yes, diabetes is a chronic infection. Diabetes always comes when we abuse the laws of nature, when we sin against nature. I like using the word sin because most Africans have become religious, and then any error in life is called sin. So since Africans have become so religious, let me be using the word that they know better, because they don't know about error, they only know about sin. Any error they call it sin. Yes, so type 1 and type 2 comes when man sin against nature. But type 1 most often is inherited or comes due to errors from birth. Whereas type 2 comes because of our poor lifestyle, eating habits, and so on. Yes. Yes, so diabetes most often can come due to errors that we inherit, genetic errors that we inherit from our parents, then, and also due to our own errors that we commit, and it causes damages in our system. And when diabetes comes, you have to do the reverse of what brought it, either in your parents, or then they handed the bad genes to you, or you committed it yourself, and then cause some handicap in your organs, or your organs were impaired and they can't function well. Then diabetes set in. You have to do a reversal of that. Means you have to reverse your lifestyle. Most often, like type 2, most people have type 2 is due to their poor feeding habits. They eat and eat and eat and eat, mostly bad food, because it's not even too much eating that matters. You can eat very good food at times. There's any food that you can eat a lot of it, it will not harm you. But there's some food you eat just little, it harms you. People eat too much starch, take sugars a lot of sugar, sweet and sweetened products. It will all harm their system and lead to diabetes. People eat and don't rest. They eat all the time. They eat all the time. Eat all the time. They don't rest. Eating all the time. Especially starchy food that will need the pancreas to operate. They end up harming their system, leading to diabetes, because the pancreas has its work to do. The alpha cells in the pancreas, the alpha cells, you have the Islam of Langerhans indeed. Its work is mostly to break down sugar, convert it to glycogen. Then you have the beta cells in the pancreas, that work is mostly to work with enzymes and so on, hormones that work in the digestion of fats, emulsify fats and so on, digest them. But when you eat too much, the part of the pancreas that is involved in breaking down sugar or converting it to glycogen, you overlabor it. You overlabor it, just like people who have Molinex. You blender at home. Blender at home. You put something to blend, you put your finger there, you don't allow it to rest, you just put your finger there for long, they call heat and burns. You're supposed to press and press for a short time, allow it to rest, to cool down. That's how the pancreas operates. When you take what it is the duty of pancreas, you have to stop for some time without taking such things so that the pancreas can rest. But when you keep taking it over and overdose, the brain will keep asking the pancreas to go in for work. The pancreas will work and crash out. You develop diabetes. Also, at the level of the cells, when you overeat certain foods, put on too much fat, take bad things, they go and impair the nerves, impair the system that works at the level of the cells. And the cells become less sensitive. They can no longer combine with insulin to burn down sugar. So you see, it is our lifestyle in general, as I earlier said in previous program, that diseases only come when we sin against God. And we know God is nature. When you sin against nature, it means you are sin against God. And how do you sin against nature? You sin against nature by violating the principles that govern life. When you eat anyhow, you violate the principles of feeding. When you eat wrong mixtures, you violate the principle of feeding. You mean you break the law. You have sinned against nature. So it is sin against nature that brings diabetes and many other diseases, which I will be explaining with time. Okay, when it comes to the cure of diabetes, the best solution is in nature. That is why up to date, medically with the orthodox practice, they say diabetes has no cure. You only control medicine forever and ever. Means the medicine become your God. Without it, you can't live. Diabetes will finish you. But in natural medicine, especially with us who practice holistic medicine, who understand the root causes of diabetes, we cure people of diabetes. We have cured them in hundreds, if not thousands, for over close to 30 years now. I've cured so many people of diabetes, type 1 and type 2 easily. Type 2 is easily curable, then followed by type 1. With diabetes insipidus, the first one is easily managed. That one is not a cause of concern when it comes to natural medicine. Yes, but with the real diabetes mellitus, type 1 and type 2, we cure with natural medicine. We cause our patients to do the reverse of what we know that brought diabetes, be it type 1 or type 2. And one of the cure, when we are curing people with diabetes, fasting is included. And we place our patients on periods that they fast, also depending on their health. Then we place them on diet, what to eat and what not to eat. We place them on diet. And then we place them on medicines that go into the body not to bring down sugar. We don't give medicine to bring down sugar. We give medicine to heal the organs that have failed, heal the pancreas, heal the cells, heal the entire system, the kidney, the whole blood system, because health is interconnected. When one part of the body is sick, all the other parts of the body are sick. That is why when you have diabetes, you start having sexual weakness, romanticism, arthritis, gout, you have all sorts of things. The people come to me, their finger has been amputated, their legs amputated, and so on because of diabetes. Once there's sickness, because all the organs of the body work in synergy. Once one part of the body is sick, or an organ is sick, it affects all the other organs. So we give a total healing in the entire system, while also placing patients on specific medicines that work in the specific organs that we know they are in charge of working to balance body glucose or body sugar. So we are calling on all those who are sick of diabetes. You have been suffering. Come with your diabetes. We will carry out laboratory diagnosis after doing our clinical diagnosis, then place you on the right and appropriate treatments that will heal you of the diabetes, heal you, whether it be it type 1, type 2, or the first one, and you'll be free of diabetes. There are only very few cases that are very stubborn, but we still heal so many of it. So I'm calling certain diseases before we go to diabetes, because there are certain that can also provoke diabetes in humans. We always make sure we trace if that we cure of disease. If your blood is too toxic and inflamed, we also make sure we detoxify the system, cure the inflammations before we go in curing the diabetes. Curing people of the diabetes. We don't cure diabetes, we cure people of diabetes. So we have medicine, as I've earlier said, like my diabetes cure, commonly called MDC. Then we have diabetes. We have a new brand of diabetes, which I hardly give in Cameroon. I only send it out of the country because Cameroonians complain too much. It's a plant. We get it out of the country. It's very expensive, but we give for people who can afford. But the common medicine that anybody can follow treatment, be it by Amselam or somebody say grano, banana, be it the rich or the poor, they only follow is my diabetes cure, which I've subsidized, and people are following it. It's very easy, very affordable, and even available or accessible for everybody. But even though it's given strictly on prescription, most of these medicines are given strictly on prescription. You cannot just come and I want to buy medicine for diabetes, anybody sell. Nobody will sell. If the person sell, it means the person has violated a rule, and once discovered, the person will be seriously sanctioned. So the medicine is not an over-the-counter medication. Their medicines for diabetes are given strictly on prescription. Even though I have cases who have taken only my bitter tea, which are over-the-counter medication, they have taken only bitter tea for a few months and diabetes disappear. But those are early cases of diabetes. But we have we have special medicine. Apart from that, we have special medicine which I've mentioned that people follow up. We always place patients for a period of time while we are treating. After some interval, then it causes blindness. Do you know how much people spend just to treat their eyes? Hundreds of thousands. Do you know how it destroys kidneys? Do you know how much people spend to do dialysis? And your life is at risk. When you calculate this, you see that the medicine is even dash. It's given for free. Because one bottle of the medicine, I think, is around 40-something thousand, and it's only one you take. While taking and doing controls, and one will last for some time. The people take only one. Most of the time, the sugar become normal. They will spend time now to heal the organs completely. But most of the time, I always send out because out will give more than that. I'm giving by Cameroon price. Out, some people will give it even 5, 6, 10 times more than that.
677-319-866. Limbe, Cars Trained Légion de Gendarmerie. Contact 680-219-145 or 697-921-385. For consultations only, contact his healer, Dr. Richard Fro at 677-628-980 or 699-958-893.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me remind those of you just joining us that you're live on your morning breakfast show on Home TV, Home Morning. And of course, after listening there to Dr. Richard Froome talking about diabetes, it is important for us to know what we eat and how complicated diabetes is. So it's important for us. Sometimes it is hereditary, others do contract it because of their unhealthy eating habit. So it's important for us to know what to eat so that we can stay safe, because diabetes is not actually a very good sickness, right? And thank God Almighty that we have a healer, Dr. Richard, who can provide a solution to diabetes patients. So we are going over to our next slot, which happens to be a press review this morning. And of course, on our press review slots this morning, we are taking you on a guided tour to the stands to get to understand what the papers are saying. We'll begin with the Long Daily Bilingual newspaper, which of course it is Cameroon Tribune this Wednesday on our stand. Prime Minister Joseph Dion Ngute yesterday, April 8, 2025, received in audience the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon, His Grace Jose Avelino Betekot. Discussions centered on the exceptional relations between Cameroon and the Holy See, especially as the two celebrate 30 years of the visit of Saint John Paul II to Cameroon and the signing of the Ecclesiastium in Africa in Yaoundé. You can get details of that document on page 5 in today's edition of Cameroon Tribune. Still in Cameroon Tribune, you can get another story like youth football. Why the persistent failure? It is an important news for us all to understand why the persistent failure of youth football in Cameroon, and of course the recent debacle of the under-17 Lions at the ongoing AFCON in Morocco once again highlights the poor state of the youth football in the country, which should have served as a nursery for other. Eagle's Eye this morning says networking. Honorable Nzams Ripa convenes parliamentarians for climate finance. If you want to get to understand just what he is proposing to help the climate situation of the climate financial situation of Cameroon, then grab a copy of today's edition of the Eagle's Eye. Still in the Eagle's Eye, the paper captures on question and answer. Honorable Ngo Isisi grills minister on cyber security failures. She delivered a powerful speech addressing it to the Minister of Post and Telecommunications, Minette Libomlili Keng. If you want to get to understand just what were her questions and what could be done to better cybersecurity in Cameroon. I this morning to go over to the Dawn newspaper. The Dawn newspaper this morning says Southwest OPIC urges presidency to sanction defiant mayors. That's the Public Independent Conciliator of the Southwest region has asked that the presidency should sanction defiant males. If you want to get to understand of our recent visit in the southwest, that's in Bangem, then grab a copy of today's edition of the Dawn newspaper. Still in the Dawn newspaper, another story you can read. FACO celebrates Minister Narova Lyonga's evaluation to CPDM Central Committee. Celebrating her elevation to the CPDM Central Committee was an event that took place a week ago. And of course, the paper equally says that Indian youth empowered for sustainable digital development opportunities. This you can get, and of course, and in an editorial this morning, which of course it is written by Trisha Oben, to tell Cameroonians how dirty their cities are. And let us end our press review this morning with the New Economist paper. The New Economist paper says that Akeremona, a consensus candidate. The paper is asking if Akeremona is a consensus candidate, since at a point in time many are clamoring for a coalition and proposing that Akeremona or Barrister Akeremona should be the leader of that coalition. Another story you can get into this edition of the New Economist: Black New Coins, useless legacy of CFA coins. This economic story you can get into this edition of the New Economist paper. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the papers on our stands this morning. We invite you all to visit any of the stands, grab any of the paper that caught your attention. Always feed your indulgence, for if you are not informed, what happens? You are deformed, right? Yes. All right, we are going to take a musical bite. We are inviting Doran Deka featuring Lady Pons to do for us Leslie.
Il a aussi dit que l'amour a des raisons que la raison ignore. Adjona Dima de l'amour parfait, Adjona Dima de l'amour sincère. Il a aussi dit que l'amour a des raisons que la raison ignore. À toi mon ami, à celui qui est sans longueur, ce qui arrive aux autres, il arrive aussi, sauf qu'on est amis, on va gérer comment. Ngena zamba belle ngena anteye mayowe, l'homme que j'aime aime aussi ma copine. Allez boya, est-ce que je me suicide? Ngena zamba belle ngena anteye mayowe. Ne me laisse pas tomber. Ne me quitte pas bébé. Prends-nous à deux, épouse l'autre. J'ai lu des enfants, ne me laisse pas tomber. Matino wazambi mana ya manano. Il nous veut à deux. Ndamaya café. Est-ce que ça va marcher car? Est-ce qu'il va changer dans sa vie? Anatoli Pemo. Ah bébé, ah chérie. Je suis choquée, je suis même touchée. Je suis blessée, je suis même troublée. L'amour, vraiment l'amour. Ma soeur, allez, là on est. par le bas, toi tu prends le haut. Explique-moi ma copine. Ah bébé, ah chérie, ah bébé, ah chérie.
Sono amiando lo per non essere mo. Bene niente. Nedita, la mi dutele, me bare, nedita, nedita. Ta. Moi je l'aime, laisse-le-moi.
Laisse-le-moi.
Je l'aime, laisse-le-moi.
S'il te plaît, laisse-le-moi.
Si je l'aime, laisse-le-moi.
Laisse-le-moi.
Je l'adore, laisse-le-moi.
S'il te plaît, laisse-le-moi.
Je le quitte, laisse-le-moi.
Laisse-le-moi.
Je l'aime, laisse-le-moi.
Laisse-le-moi.
Dans son cœur, chacune prend sa part. Ou on coupe son corps, chacune prend sa dose. Tu prends le haut et moi je prends le bas. On le. Ma copine, laisse-le-moi.
Laisse-le-moi.
Je l'aime aussi,
S'il
laisse-le-moi.
te plaît, laisse-le-moi.
Naima son tempo. Ibalambaini nani. Mayakama. Je l'aime. Il m'aime. Il t'aime. Il m'aime. Il nous aime à deux. Il nous veut à deux. La polygamie ou l'amitié. Eh bah. Affaire à suivre. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? On le découpe. Est-ce qu'on se gâte? Ou alors on le blâme? Adieu. Moi je l'aime, laisse-le-moi.
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 S'il te plaît, laisse-le-moi. Laisse-le-moi. Laisse-le-moi.
Adoba pamela wama. Ina adoba pamela wama. Batayama. Adoba pamela tayama. Serenouye mapena boa. Seremo mapena tondimo. Serenouye mapena boa. Seremo mapena. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Je ne sais pas, ma soeur, je ne sais pas.
On l'a découpe, gars.
Non, pas ce point-là.
Est-ce qu'on se gâte?
Ah, non.
Ou alors
On le prend à deux.
deux.
Wandukwanika, on va voir.
Sommes vont nous tuer.
Ah, c'est
Mais
toi
moi,
qui
je
dis
ne
ça.
peux pas te tuer.
Ah, mais tu sais, on peut toujours le faire ça.
Beautiful music there from Doran Deka. Should we separate him? Should we divide him into two because he loved the both of us? Because of friendship or polygamy? Which should we accept? You see, it's also the kind of things that provoke domestic violence, right? Yes. Though sometimes it can lead to, it's actually very difficult to have someone or a single man loving two friends. Lady L, have you ever find yourself in such a situation? What if you find yourself in such a situation? What do you do with your friend?
On les gère à deux. On va les gérer à deux. Ils t'aiment, ils m'aiment. On va les gérer à deux.
You will not divide him into two?
No.
Moi je prends en haut. Toi tu prends en bas.
I'll take a bas, you take a home.
All right. Good morning, Lady L, and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Wana. Good morning, viewers of Home TV. Those who only had their breakfast and who enjoy, and those who are still having, enjoy your breakfast. Well, today is